I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Which part of your life are you not free? The question delves into the realization that fear often paralyzes us from acting on our own emotions. We all have dreams and aspirations, but few act upon them because of the stories we tell ourselves. You see, recently I posed this question to someone else, and like a clear pond, my soul reflected the image back to me. I recognized that I had chained my desires to external judgment, restricting my own freedom in expressing myself, even in the smallest moments. But it's those small moments where you can choose a different path, where you can show up in a way that's a little different and show yourself it's not that difficult to be free. Today I want to examine a few big waves I've experienced in my life recently to understand the ripples. My hope is that if I can understand how the waves manifest, I can learn how not to resist the waves, but to sink further into its unfolding. Strings, strings, strings. Why do I feel like my life is on strings? See, I feel a freedom to explore the world and who I am, yet I still feel strings pulled tightly. Tonight I'm reminded, again, even in my infinite consciousness, I am bound. And until they find a cure for human nature, a man must stand with his people. See, a part of me realizes I can become whoever I want to be, yet there is a cost I'm unwilling to accept. I was raised in a culture which prides itself on tradition. The old ways are best, they would say, and there is a certain wisdom to that. But I sense there is an aspect of that thinking which also breeds stagnation. So my mind conjures up questions to smooth out this wrinkle. Like, why does tradition enforce its own limitations? Are these for our own good? What does the word tradition even mean? Is it a timeless set of rules, or does it require change and evolution like all things? Removed from the fear of judgment, I wonder how many of us will drift too far, never to find stable land again. Recently within myself, there's been an acceptance of being the individual on the frontier. There's an old story of a scout who sent over the hill into foreign lands to scavenge and find what lies over there. After a while, he comes running back, empty-handed, but with all these arrows in his back. And he stands there and he says, well, at least we've learned there's a lot of arrows over there. I tasked myself with venturing out into the unknown to bring back some sort of perspective from my culture. The level of influence of these ideas only spreads further and further as I age. First, it was only for myself in a deep room trying to understand myself. Then I realized I cannot exist in an island. And whether I like it or not, I inspire others who are like me. And I'm suddenly reminded of the responsibility I bear. This first wave hit when I was in my late teens, and I've yet to find comfort in my answers. And as I tried to live out the question, another wave hit. You see, one of the most annoying aspects of recreating yourself is accepting the fact that the current you isn't good enough for the next level. As a child, I marveled at the content I consumed. Movies, books, shows, podcasts, all seemingly existing in a realm crafted solely by the individuals from that world. And growing older, my understanding of these passions and the people behind them became so important to me, because it offered me a sense of belonging in the world, and I saw a place for myself in and amongst these dreams. However, to become like these people, I had to evolve, become capable of morphing myself. I had to gain skills, understanding, studying the art of writing and podcasting, building discipline and confidence. All these aspects of myself which I thought I had lacked and desperately needed to acquire. In the process, I had to figure out the underlying features of the things I used to love and find expressions of them in different pursuits. Now here's where the next wave hit. There is a tension between creating yourself to fit your ambitions and living out your life as a human being. I feel there is a sacrifice to be made if you want outlier success. I realized that my heroes, the people who exist in this other world, weren't better people. They're simply focused on one aspect of their life, often in neglect of all other parts, in order to fulfill their dreams. I keep telling myself that anything you want to pursue is going to have some amount of pain and sacrifice associated with it. Therefore, orient yourself towards the difficulties you're willing to embrace rather than the pleasure that you're looking for. Remember that if you put the effort in, you'll be able to exist in a world where this thing is successful. And I really believe in that. But you gotta do it enough times so the world believes. But I wonder sometimes, how many years would that take? And what will happen to the days that I keep on sacrificing? See, over time, these thought patterns you build, they affect the way you grow up. They affect your lifestyle and your choices. And as you age, you begin to wonder which of these thought patterns are truly yours, and which you have adopted from people who don't even have your best interest in mind. The second wave handed me purpose and ambition, but he also asked me to weigh the value of both of these. Ironically, the only skill I had for this task was my heart. I feel like I'm undergoing a prolonged moment of introspection, thinking about how my life will turn out. It feels like an important moment stretched out over a few years. You see, I know the choice isn't just one decision, but many small ones compounded on each other. On the other hand, there is a feeling that I already am. There isn't a sense of figuring myself out I keep thinking is the solution, or that it requires for me to get out my own way, to surrender to my nature. There is this idea that we are born perfect, and we spend our lives subject to the culture and society that we grow up in. Often misled by the ideas of our parents, friends, society in an effort to truly understand who we are. Some do this unconsciously, but others do with an immense sense of awareness from within. See, I consider myself part of the light camp. There is a choir of ecstasy which sings deep within my heart every time I allow myself to feel. And I'm often caught between the two states of being, balanced on the knife edge of my true essence. Our attention is often drawn to the parts of our lives we feel is inadequate, yet we rarely give praise and gratitude to the aspects which we prayed for not too long ago. Understanding that life comes in waves allows me to be grateful for each experience and focus on the parts which are in accordance with my will. Perhaps a more accurate perspective on these different waves is that they all flow from the same source, from the same ocean. They grow from my internal struggle trying to understand the story of my life whilst I'm living it. Learning to live with the questions, such as which part of your life are you not free, will allow me to be aware of the waves until the next wave hits.